Hello there, people of Earth. Today we're talking about the top 5 attacks in Dragon Ball Z.
Number 5.
The Spirit Bomb is usually an ultimate or last resort technique used by Goku, which he learned from Kaio-sama, aka King Kai. It is also known by the Genki Dama in the Japanese version, and it is formed when Goku raises his hands up in the air to form the Spirit Bomb, gathering energy from all around the area, all over the planet, all over the solar system, the universe, people from Earth, of course. So and it was used a grand total of 3 times. The first, of course, was against Vegeta. When he was gathering the energy, he got hit by the Great Ape form from Vegeta. So he lost a little bit of the power from that at least, but passed the power onto Krillin, so that Krillin and Gohan can team up and hit Vegeta with the Spirit Bomb. And though he did technically survive the attack, Vegeta was pretty much out of the fight at that point. And of course, the second time it was used was against Frieza on Namek, his 50% form, which Goku kind of resorted to using the energy from all around the surrounding planets. And of course, Frieza survived that anyway. And then, of course, we know what happens after that. Goku turns Super Saiyan against Frieza's 100% final form. And the third time was against Kid Buu, which Goku used the power from all over the universe, and then of course Hercule jumped in, Mr. Satan, to convince the people of Earth to raise their hands up and give him the energy to defeat Kid Buu. Finally actually defeating an opponent for once, or killing an opponent for once. Now of course a huge disadvantage to this is that Goku has to raise his hands in the air and use a lot of concentration to form the energy into the ball and get the energy from all over the place to gather into this one place. So, of course, that leaves them wide open, as we saw in the Namek Saga against Frieza, to attack. However, the fact that the Spirit Bomb can take energy from all over the place, as well as from the user, makes it possibly the most powerful attack in the entire series.
Numero 4.
The Kamehameha! Otherwise known in the Japanese version as the Kamehameha, this is the iconic attack of the series. Goku learns it as a kid by seeing Master Roshi do it one time. And it was meant to originally be Goku's signature attack, but of course basically everybody in this series has learned it by now. Now the attack is very powerful and very diverse, and its power even multiplied Goku's battle power by like 2 or 3 times when he was fighting Raditz. And its diversification is shown in the original Dragon Ball when Goku used it to fire it from his feet. Against Frieza, he used it to have 2 balls of energy against Frieza. So it can be used in balls of energy, it can be used in beams of energy. Now, given the number of people that know it, it's also very easy to learn. But however powerful and versatile this technique is, I believe it's only defeated one main villain of the series, and that's Perfect Cell by Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But of course before that, it was successful in destroying half of Perfect Cell's body in their clash with Goku using his instant transmission to go right down where Cell's feet are and blast the top half of his body off. So the Kamehameha is definitely no pushover when it comes to the more powerful techniques of the show, and it's of course the most iconic technique of the entire series, and it just wouldn't be the same without it.
Numero 3.
The Makanko Sappo is a severely deadly technique used by Piccolo. It's an attack which can drill through an opponent and just keep going. Now this was developed by Piccolo in order to defeat Goku after the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, but he ended up using it against Goku's brother Raditz instead, but it still accomplished its goal in killing Goku at the same time. Now this technique takes a bit of time to charge up. Of course in the anime he used it a lot, without charging it up that much. But in the instance of Raditz, he had to take, I think it was 5 minutes to charge it up while Goku distracted Raditz. Now the power of this technique is pretty insane. Like while he was charging it up, it multiplied his power by 3 or 4 times, I think. Now that's like using it times 3 or 4 Kaioken. Now the Special Beam Cannon is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the arsenal of Dragon Ball Z attacks. From its penetrating ability to its amplification of power, like we saw, it's able to defeat an opponent much stronger than the wielder.
Number 2.
The Final Flash. The Final Flash, used basically once against Perfect Cell by Vegeta in their fight. This is a supremely badass attack, which we can assume that Vegeta developed during his time in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, or Room and Spirit of Time. Now after getting beat down by Cell, Vegeta resorts to using this attack and goads Cell into hitting it face on. Now at this point, of course, Perfect Cell is far stronger than Vegeta, but despite that, Vegeta is successful in destroying half of Cell's body. Now of course, the final flash with its power, along with how badass it looks and how you do it, and how it's executed, makes it one of the coolest attacks in the series.
And number 1.
The Tri-Beam, aka the Kikoho, is a hugely overpowered technique used by Tenshinhan, or Tien. It was originally introduced in Dragon Ball in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai when Tien used it against Goku to destroy the World Martial Arts stage. And he concentrates on his enemy and just bursts out with a gigantic beam of powerful energy, creating kind of a squarish shaped hole in the ground if he was pointing it that way. Now the first time this technique was used in Dragon Ball Z was against Nappa, but this was after Tien had his arm chopped off from Nappa, and he had to use it with one hand. Now unfortunately this didn't really cause much damage to Nappa, but it did cause Tien's death. But the second and most badass use of this technique in Dragon Ball Z was against Semi-Perfect Cell, when Tien went over there and started just freaking tri-beaming the crap out of Semi-Perfect Cell and pushing him back. Now, just so you all know, Tien is so much weaker than Semi-Perfect Cell at this point, and yet he's able to push this guy back with anything at all is a huge accomplishment. Now, of course, this technique was technically the Shin Kikoho, a variant of the regular Tri-Beam that he used to do, so he developed it further and was able to kind of rapid fire it against Semi-Perfect Cell. Now, it didn't do any actual damage to Semi-Perfect Cell, but being successful in holding him back, somebody who's that much more powerful, shows just how insanely powerful this technique is. Now, the last time we see it in the series is when Tien makes his one-time appearance in the Buu Saga against Buu Tanks. He's able to, first of all, deflect one of Buu Tank's attacks, and then Tri-Beams the crap out of Buu Tanks, which does literally nothing, doesn't even push him back or anything. So that was pretty cool. So the Kikoho is a fairly unique attack, and is, like we saw, able to close the gap in vastly more powerful foes. So both the setup for the attack itself, how much it increases your power, you gotta give credit to the Tri-Beam. So what do you guys think of my top 5 attacks of Dragon Ball Z? Do you agree with the list? Do you have others that think should be on the list? Feel free to say so in the comments or make your own list if you want. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Take it easy.